fool. Hit him, 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 hit him. Smash him up, watch that move. Went too swift, can't catch these dudes. Can't hit him, 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 listen, 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 hit him, listen. This Eagles talk, this talk Eagles. Philly bleed green is from your people. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's beat the squad. Big Pat yelling, Dante the dark child. Drop the stats on him, drop the facts on him. Spur gang, baby, let's get it on.
Hey, fam, it's your man Dante the Dark Knight, and welcome along with Pat and Michelle. It's NFL Kickoff night tonight, Thursday. The Kansas City Chiefs, defending Super Bowl champions, take on the Baltimore Ravens for the first game of the season, and that's happening tonight. Our Philadelphia Eagles start their season tomorrow night, Friday Night Football. Friday Night Lights, don't they call it? Friday Night Lights. Then they take on the Green Bay Packers, and we'll be back doing a pregame for that, so you guys tune in. But this is the audio podcast for this week, and we're going to kick off the NFL season by catching you guys up on what is going on with the Eagles as they head into that contest tomorrow, Friday night. A couple of injuries and other things going on, and we'll talk about that in this upcoming episode here. It is wonderful to have the gang all together in the nick of time. We're like Voltron, except we're missing like two pieces. We're like Voltron, though, but we're missing two pieces. But it's good to have everybody here tonight as we kick off the NFL season. How are you guys doing? How's it going, Michelle? You're so busy.
Hey, guys. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Sorry, I'm having a little technical difficulties with my braids. No, it's been good. As you know, we had an event for one of my clients, Eagles and versus Giants fans.
Yeah.
So shout out to E-Rock. He came through.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I saw
that.
So we got to make sure we get that up on Instagram and give him a shout out. We're working on the video recap, but up in Central Jersey is the Mason-Dixon line between, Eagles territory and Giants territory, the TV markets. So we came up with this fun idea to have like a battle of I-95. So there was a cooking contest for a tailgate using ingredients from the local farm.
Wow.
There was a goat race, and the goats did,
Wow.
the goats did just like Eagles and Giants do. They bucked instead of racing. They bucked the whole way down the racetrack. We had a football toss, and we had trivia. We had Hugh Douglas. Shout out to Hugh Douglas. Thank you. And Otis Anderson from the Giants. So we had an Eagles OG, a Giants OG. And shout out to everybody in Hunterdon County and the Explore Hunterdon team for letting us come up with crazy ideas to have fun in their community. So it was a blast. It was the first year going out. We're trying to make it bigger next year, and hopefully have some both Eagles and Giants content creators come out to do these challenges. I would love a content creator challenge for next year, but
I'll win all of it. I'll win all of it. Long talk.
Listen,
everything you name.
It got real competitive. Unfortunately, the Giants team won, but they did. They did.
Where's my
they
boo
won.
at?
So, unfortunately, the Giants team won, but it's all good. We can get them next year. But if you're in the Jersey, PA, New York area, be on the lookout for us to do it again next year. And if you're in and around Central Jersey, we're still going to keep up that kind of theme, Eagles and Giants fans around the different sports bars up there as well, moving forward to have some kind of fun engagement, because it literally is a hub for both teams.
Well, that's great. I'm glad that it turned out to be a wonderful event. I wanted to come so bad. I had a previous engagement, and I kind of wanted to stay married just a little bit more than I wanted to come to
remember.
that. So
You're the second person that told me that week. Like they couldn't come to a meeting so they could stay married because they forgot their anniversary.
Ooh.
Oh wow, yeah. No. Yeah.
I can tell you this, babe. I will never forget our anniversary. It was the 3rd of September. They will always
You
remember.
can't
Right?
remember. Yeah, happy anniversary, Pat. That's right. His
Yes, I
anniversary was a
know.
couple of days.
Anniversary, guys. That's amazing. I saw all your loving posts. That was wonderful. Hey Sam,
Appreciate
where's she at?
Oh, she's getting the food.
Oh, nice. Of course she is. Of course
Mm.
she is.
All right, well, let's kick off this thing as we do always. You're watching, listening to Eagles Talk, the most unique Eagles coverage show around. That's by us Eagles fans, for us Eagles fans. And here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team. That is the Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl bound Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, I'm claiming it. Philadelphia Eagles. And we do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. So Pat is doing, what Pat, what are you doing? Oh, you got the what's that? Woodford
Reserve, yes.
Woodford
Yes.
Reserve.
Yes.
All right. That's some good stuff right there. Nichelle, what are you partaking in?
I
if
have
anything?
I have a gin. What's that called? Gin mule.
A
Oh,
gin
we got a
mule.
mule.
A
Yes.
gin
You got the same
mule.
cup? You got the same cup, don't you?
Look, I got the mule cup.
Oh wow, she's fancy. She got the real thing. She not faking it over here.
No, she
Listen,
not.
people take
That-
care of me. I got the mule cup. This is filled to the brim. So
That is what's
lots
up.
of
I
gin
just
is in
have
here.
my strawberry lemonade. So I'm going to do that. But anyway, let's take this down the hatch for our Philadelphia Eagles. 3, 2, 1.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
You're now listening to the First Quarter.
All right, tomorrow night, our Philadelphia Eagles take on the Green Bay Packers. A couple of things that's coming out, and that is we have 2 major players that are injured. Number 1 is Devon White. We heard that first, right? Devon White has not traveled with the team. He is out with an ankle injury, and that was a little surprising to me. Not that he was hurt, because people get hurt all the time. Not worried about that. But that he wasn't traveling with the team. Injured players travel. So that was the first thing that kind of threw up a red flag for me. Like, well, why is he not traveling? What's going on?
Yeah.
And then we heard the reports come out that he might not have been starting anyway. They said N'Kobe Dean was going to be named the starter. Him and Zach Bond had really good training camps, and the competition was so close that they hadn't named the starter up until this week. So then there were other reports that came out that said that he might have been traded. They were murmurs that the Eagles could trade Devon White before the cut down. And that's reported by Albert Breer. So it's an interesting situation. We were all looking forward to having, because we considered Devon White the real linebacker we needed, right? Our linebackers sucked last year, and we signed him in the offseason. He got benched last year. He did, but I thought as soon as we signed him, I thought he was the best linebacker we had. And here we are. That's why they not play the games, but this is why they try these people out. This is why we have training camp.
Yeah.
Because he has not exceeded our expectations. And I'll talk about I'll tie that into the rest of the team later. But what do you guys feel about that injury and the whole Devon White story?
I'll let Pat go first.
Well, I think it's a bunch of hogwash. Listen, first of all, they're traveling to a whole different country. All right, they're traveling to Brazil. They got briefed by the FBI, not security. They got briefed by the FBI what to do and what not to do. Some of the players said they're not even bringing the family down there because of how serious
That's
the
right.
threat may be towards the players, not toward us travelers of regular folks. Talk about the players. So therefore, as a player that tweaked my ankle, that I know I cannot go on this ankle, it'd be in my best interest, even though I want to travel my team, support my team, to stay home. One less person to worry about for security and for the team. I don't. I think I literally think he's our best linebacker on the field when healthy, and the different combinations that you could do with him as a blitzer, because he's definitely gonna be one of our top blitzers at that position. Is out of this world. So for them to say that all these reports, all of a sudden, all these reports come out of nowhere, it's a smoke screen. It's just like when you go to that week of the draft and you hear all these reports about this player, that player, then all of a sudden the draft happens, none of that happens. That's all this is. That's what
Yeah.
I think.
I feel the same, and the bigger issue for me is, kind of the fallout that's been happening around this whole playing in Brazil in the first place
Hmm.
with the fans, with the comments on the gang crime escalating, the not being able to wear green, so you pick the two teams that have green. There's when you kind of read the room of the fan bases, both Packers and Eagles across the internet. Not everybody was very happy with picking Brazil, especially coming off of the aftermath of when they had the Olympics there and all that negative information that came out afterwards. So um, I think before the NFL makes these kind of moves, they should really consider the climate.
Calling you. They need to
Yes,
call Nichelle
They
when
do.
they are
Me
they
too.
need to call Nichelle and she would get them straight. She would have never had us over there like that.
No, no, it would never, never. You have to know the culture when you go into another country and you're bringing things into it, So, I find it problematic from an execution standpoint. I really don't care how the players feel about it, to be honest with you. I really just find it problematic as a brand, as the NFL, that you chose a place that you didn't do your homework, and you're one of the most largest organizations in the world,
Hmm.
and you have all the resources at will. This organization makes tons of money, but you didn't do enough research to know that maybe Brazil probably was not a good idea, for
Yeah.
your home opener. I get on the surface what that might look like, but it's not cost effective for fans, and Eagles fans travel well. I know why they picked us, because they know we know Eagles fans are still down there, but a lot of people don't want to take that risk. And I was just concerned that I just don't think it was really thought out well enough by the league on having this in Brazil. Personally, that's really more my take about it. Not so much the players can, you know, um, their position about it, or if they're going, if they're not going, and
Hmm.
what the fodder is. It's really like, why was this decision made in the first place? That's why I don't blame them not to take their families. I would absolutely not have my family. If they can't leave, they can't go anywhere, so what's the purpose?
Yeah, they staying in the
You know
hotel
what I
room, like
mean? It's
Slay
not like
said.
you could go and they can have an excursion. It's not like they could have all went down on Tuesday, had like a team, had some family and team things going on in between their
Hmm.
walkthroughs and practice. It's not the Super Bowl.
No.
Even at the Super Bowl, they barely get to see their family, but they at least have some safety enough that they can be around their family. It's not even a factor in this one. It's just, it seems very pointless and very piss poor planning by the league to actually to have the kickoff, the home opener in Brazil.
I totally agree. I think the NFL really dropped the ball on this. And why do they keep dropping the ball on things like this? Is
Mhm.
being as big as machine as they are, to pick two teams
Hmm.
that wear the colors that you can't wear in the country, just that was just the dumbest thing. But
Yeah, it
and
was.
then not having enough control to even have the players, even if the players don't buy in. How's the handling? Where's the handling? Like, there's no
Hmm.
messaging going to the players like Darius Slay. Look, dude, we know you don't want to go over there, but don't say you don't want to go over there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
don't say you don't want to go over there. That the whole thing has been a debacle to me.
It has.
I was going to go there, and the tickets were in the nosebleeds, like $500-$600, like maybe 2 weeks ago. And I talked to a buddy of mine. He was going, and he told me that's what he paid. Talked to another buddy of mine who I would have been traveling with. And he came back like, I guess, beginning of this week, or no, beginning of last week, and was like, yo, the tickets are like $245. I said, oh, that is not bad. And then the report came out with all the wildfires and the crime and all that. And I was like, I don't think I want to go. He called me right back. He said, yo, the tickets are like $176. Now I'm wondering, like, yo, all right, this is not
nobody's
a good.
going up, man.
Yeah, nobody's going. The ticket
up.
prices are going down. You probably get a ticket now for $5 if you want to go, at last minute. But yeah, just not a good look for the NFL over there. And the fans that I do know that are over there, like I forget, Fourth and John. I forget that group that they travel with.
Yeah.
They're not going right to Sao
Philly.
Paulo. They're not going right into Sao Paulo. They're going into like Rio and chilling there a couple of days, and they're not showing up until to the host city until the day of the game because of the crime rate and stuff like that. I know a couple people that's doing that. So it's going to be packed. I assume that it's going to look good on TV. But yeah, and then the fact that it's our first game of the season and it's away. That's something else too.
We're the home team, correct?
We are the home team.
We're the home team.
That's another thing. They took a home game from us.
Black helmet, a white jersey, black pants.
But they took a home game from us.
They did.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's not.
And not to take away from the NFL getting money, because yes, that's all the NFL is getting money. I think Peacock is paying $150 million to broadcast this game. They paid the NFL for the rights to have this game. So with that being said, like Michelle said, you got the two greenest teams in the NFL in a stadium whose rival wears green. They hate that color. That's like going to Blood's territory and being a Crip.
Yeah.
Going to the Cap House or going to the Cap House and being a Groove.
But I agree with the comments. We get that it's about money and profits, but fast money is not always good money. God forbid. And it's not the team is going to be safe, but God forbid anything happens with one of the fans. You see what I mean?
Right.
It could be a PR nightmare that could cost them money.
Yeah, it could possibly
at the end
be.
Of the day. You know what I mean?
To get back to,
I'm
sorry, to get back to Devon White though. I don't know if that's a bunch of malarkey. I get it. So. I do hear what you're saying, Tad, about not traveling to Brazil and because of the situation. That makes sense there. And I'm not absolving the press from being possibly wrong, but it just seems to be. I'm just curious as to what's the real story behind everything is, and why they needed to make it known that he had been beaten out and stuff like that. So I'm sure we're going to get more facts as they come out. But remember this, sometimes they do get it right. I had my thoughts about what was going on in that locker room last year, right? And that was all assumptions, of course. I'm not in the locker room. But those assumptions came to be pretty true when we start hearing the whole story. The whole story about the locker room morale and the relationships in the locker room. So, let's not just poo-poo it or anything like that. The bottom line is he's not playing. He's not playing. And we need the linebackers that will be playing tomorrow to show up and do their job. We definitely need improvement in that part of our game. Our linebackers sucked last year, along with the whole defense, but they were terrible last year. So if it is indeed true that Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean were the best, and we're going to start anyway, we need them to perform at a high level and give us better linebacker play than we had last year. I'm telling you, I'm going to pull. Well, I don't have any more hair. I have very little hair. I'm about to say I'm going to pull my hair out if I see across the middle completions picking up crucial first downs tomorrow. If I see that, I swear I'm gonna pull out the little bit of hair I have left.
It's gonna happen.
No,
We
don't
just need,
tell me that,
we
Pat.
just need to score 35 or more points. Look, I want to be honest with you. It's not very uncommon for injured players who travel with a team. We see it all the time. Injured players, most of the time, don't travel with the team when they're injured. We see it happen all the time. So it's not uncommon that this happens because they're going on what a 14-hour, 15-hour flight. Heck no, I have better facilities here to treat my injury so I can be ready when you come back to the States and we play our next game.
What's an ankle? And they didn't say it was
Ankles,
going to be 5.
ankles
As a
for a
matter of fact,
linebacker
is it this? I haven't read this, but what's the time frame on this injury? Have they even reported that?
See, since they put it out,
I haven't seen that.
Since they put it out there before so you gotta understand some things, some tricky things that the teams can do. Being as though their game is on Friday. Did you know it's a clause that is a clause between the NFL and the National High School Football Association that NFL games can't be played on a Friday? Did you know that?
No, I did
you
not.
didn't know that.
No.
So the second, it starts. So I heard. So this is what I looked up. It starts the second weekend in September that the NFL cannot play their games on a Friday night.
Oh,
it's taken away from.
That's the high school night. Yeah, that's high school.
So
we know the order.
Wait. So how they get away with it is this week is the first weekend of September. So that being said, there are different ways you can get away with not disclosing a player's injury to the full extent. Being as though you're traveling 14 hours, you can give last minute notice because you're not the first game being played. The first game being played is on a Thursday night. Therefore, their injury report needs to come out the day before, which is on a Wednesday. Since you're traveling on a Wednesday, there are some other stipulations. You don't have to put out your injury report until you actually land. So if the player is injured, you don't have to tell the league until you land because you're not in the place of the sporting event.
All right. Well, I'm glad Pat is doing this homework. It's good to see he's come back and he's very well informed. But my question was, why didn't I find it peculiar that they didn't put a time frame on his injury? Usually, they got ankle injury. He'll be out 2 to 3 weeks. I'm curious as to why they didn't do that with him. That's Saturday another red flag for me.
Saturday or Sunday, they don't have to put a designation onto it unless he's on IR.
But let me go to our other co-hosts that are the people that are in the rooms, our followers. We are a live podcast. We come on video also if you're listening to the audio. So I'm going to introduce our fourth co-host, and that's you guys in the chat room. First person in the room tonight was actually Nichelle because she said, she needed a mic check. But no, we're not going to count her.
I know. It's my bad. I forgot I wasn't in the private chat. Don't hate.
The first one in the chat room tonight is Deborah Clark Bennett. And she's watching from Facebook. She puts up the birds, the Eagles, and green hearts. What's up, Deborah? Thanks for joining. The second person in the room tonight is Richard Layton. He says, Eagles family, what's up? What's up? Christopher Burton was the third one. What's up, Christopher Burton? What's up? He's our guy, one of the admins of our group page on Facebook. He says, hey, Eagles fam, checking in from work. Okay, don't get caught. Don't get caught. Whatever you do, I can't help you out. Gregory Burrell is also in there. He says, good evening, Eagles family. Good evening, Greg. Is everybody hyped that football starts tonight? Even though it's not our Philadelphia Eagles, I'm still hyped that we get football tonight. My excitement level is probably at a 10. So that means tomorrow it's going to be at a 20. So it can go higher. It doesn't have to stop at a 10-point scale here. JT is in the house. He says, yo, let's go Birds. That's right. What's up, JT? Candy McDaniel is watching from YouTube. Said, yay, my girl is back. Love you guys. So they're happy to see you. My frat brother's in the house. Dom Lewis. What's up, Dark Knight? What's good, Five? What's up, Five? All right. So the other injury is Isaiah Rodgers, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
He's not going to be available.
It's a hand injury, so I don't know what the extent is because a hand could be anything from the wrist to the actual hand being fractured. We don't know. We don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as a former cornerback back in the day, listen, I don't need my hand to tape that thing up. I'll be all right.
So he's not going to play. So and they were talking about him possibly being the starting corner opposite of Slay. I've been hearing a couple things around that because I hear that they love Quinyon Mitchell. They love him.
Yes, Q.
So
They
I
call him.
heard that he was going to be actually the starting cornerback opposite of Slay. And since they play a lot of nickel, nickel is almost damn near base D now.
Mhm.
So since they play a lot of nickel, he would move into the slot in those situations, and Isaiah Rodgers would play the outside. So Isaiah's not going to be there. So Quinyon Mitchell will be starting. He's going to be starting. He's going to probably be starting on the outside, and depending on what they do, he'll either stay there. If they bring in Maddox to play the slot, he'll stay on the outside. Or if they bring in Keely Ringo, he'll move into the inside, and Keely will come out and play the outside. So in any event, I'm not really that upset that he's not going to be there because I think that we have a great group of a great cornerback group. I think we have a great cornerback group, and I don't think that there's much of a fall off between Keely Ringo and maybe Isaiah Rodgers. So I really feel good about this secondary this year. I don't know. You guys let me know. How you guys feel about the Isaiah Rodgers injury, and are you worried that he's not going to be there the first night? Pat, the D-back guy?
I think it's a bummer because this guy, he served his term to be out for a whole year. And he worked his butt off. You had all the receivers talking about how good he actually is. And, for him to take a whole year off football, how he came into off-season workouts and training camp ready to ball, how he looked as the starting corner. So it's kind of a bummer that doesn't get this opportunity to go out there and showcase what we've been waiting for a whole year. But at the same time, this is the opportunity to show why you were drafted in the first round, why you are considered a top pick, why you're considered the best cornerback in this draft. That have, there were some outstanding corners taken in this draft, and they said that you are the best. Go out there and prove it. We do have a young room, which is getting mentored by Darius Slay, which I love. Because Darius Slay, when he came out young, he was a monster at cornerback. You can't get anything past him. And his ability to give that information, how to play the position to these young corners, is only going to increase the value of our corners and make that room much better than what it is. These guys are interchangeable almost to a fault. Besides Q getting that opportunity to play the slot, I think these guys are almost interchangeable. Keely Rango, Q, Zaire Rodgers. This is what we always wanted. We always wanted a room where we had cornerbacks, not just two, but a whole bench of corners that they can come in one after the other and be productive in playing that position. And you're going to need it because you're going to need all four corners against these receivers and this quarterback in Green Bay.
So what do you think, Michelle? Let me read this comment here. Quavo said next season the opener is going to be in North Korea.
Kim Jong-un, that'll be great. Before I give my 2 cents on the young corners, I just wanted to say, hey, Jeremiah and wifey, tell her I missed her too. I missed all of you guys. So thanks for the shout out. And but I'm very excited about this young core. I was excited when they drafted the corners. Let's be clear. Okay. So that excitement's not changing for me. It is a bummer that we won't get to see Isaiah Rodgers in week 1. That is I'm in full wholehearted agreement. But in terms of the various defensive units, we know we have some issues at linebacker. I'm hoping, Nakobe Dean, et cetera, they all are stepping up and this Devon White issue doesn't become an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's good to see that we are now looking towards the future of securing up that cornerback room so we ain't getting burnt. Let's call it what it is. We've been getting burnt for I don't know, past 3 seasons, even when we're playing well and we're hitting sack records, our secondary was still not consistent enough for me. So I'm excited to see this young regime come in and get tutored by the likes of a Darius Slay, to bring them along, and I think that's going to bode well for that room, for them. So that's exciting to see from me. That's what I'm most excited about, is the fact that now we there's no disconnect between the new and the veterans. We actually have that full range of experience there, which is going to lend itself well to us having a good secondary, like the Lido Shepherds of the world, when we had that regime for a good, few seasons, if you will. That's what I'm excited about.
Man, we had a
Up
season.
to tell that he's not playing.
We had a season of Lido Shepherd, Sheldon Brown, Troy Vincent, uh, uh, Bobby Tiller. Like
Yeah.
we drafted,
Yeah.
we drafted guys when we already had guys, and that's what we need to go back to.
Yes, talk about it. Talk
I
about the
think
OGs. Shout out to BT and Lido and all that. Talk about them. Yes.
I think we are I think we are back in that age right now. But let's
I
end
hope
this
not.
quarter.
And that's the end of the quarter.
All right, I'm your man Dante the Dark Knight here with the rest of the crew, Nichelle and Pat, and this is Eagles Talk, the most unique Eagles coverage show around. That's by us Eagles fans, for us Eagles fans, and we like to talk about our favorite team, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles. We're so hyped. It's going down tomorrow. We do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. So let's get those shots going. Let's get ready. We're pre-gaming already a day before. I'm doing strawberry lemonade. Pat is doing the Woodford Reserve, and Nichelle has a rum mule, and
No,
she's
it's
even
a gin mule. It's a gin
oh
mule.
gin
And
mule.
please
I'm
enjoy
sorry.
responsibly. You could do a shot of wheatgrass. It doesn't have to be alcoholic. Just do whatever floats your boat.
Yes.
Just do whatever floats your boat. Like I said, if you're an adult and you're drinking a beverage, it's an adult beverage. So
That's
come on, join us. Here we go. Down the hatch. 3, 2, 1.
Cheers.
You're now listening to the second quarter.
All right, slight pushback on Nichelle's take. I think that I do definitely agree that we have not had superior cornerback play in a long time. But the little pushback I'll give is that Super Bowl year, Bradbury and Slay played at a high level. The secondary, I think, played at a pretty decent level with the amount of turnovers, the high sack rate. All that was attributed to that defensive rush and the secondary working in tandem. What we did not like is that playing the sticks defense. That's what we didn't like. We didn't like that. That's playing the sticks defense was killing us watching, because Bradbury was still playing at a high level then, watching them sit back and allow things happen in front of them. But now I think that I am very, very high on this cornerback room and these young guys, and just to watch them in preseason, man, that I do recall that interception by Avonte Maddox in the end zone in that preseason game. That was a beautiful thing to see. Not just the interception, but if you go back and look at that play, everyone was covered. I was like, wow, we got our cornerbacks are actually covering these guys. They were all covered. Nobody was running free, man. We got corners that actually stick with the receivers. So that was a joy to see, and I just hope that it translates to the regular season game and we see more of that when the lights go on for real tomorrow night, man. So we have Isaiah out, and I do agree. I'm going to miss him a little bit with all the reports that we've been hearing out of training camp, how well he's been doing, how well he had done. Just gives me confidence, more confidence that this is going to be a different secondary, man. If we can just get some adequate linebacker play, this might be a special unit. I hear the experts talking about the pass rush, and there's question marks there because we've lost Fletcher Cox and Hassan Reddick, and we just don't know what these guys are going to do. I know on paper it might look like it should be okay, but until we actually see it, there's questions. I have questions. I have to see it before I can have full confidence in it. So I can't wait to see what Vic dials up with this defense and how he deploys these guys tomorrow night.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I'm looking forward to seeing the combinations that he throw out there. Jalen Carter, and Jordan Davis. I'm looking for a big season from Jordan Davis because Jalen Carter is going to get the treatment that Aaron Donald got, double team. So that's going to mean you're going to be Jordan Davis is going to get all the opportunity in the world to light up his stats and pad his stats.
Mhm.
Also, Milton Williams. Vic talked about him early in training camp. How
Yep.
how he can be, how good he is inside and outside. I look forward to seeing what Milton can do for this team. Now, one person we haven't talked about that we haven't talked about in a very long time, not Nolan Smith, not the rookie Jaden Hunts, but Sweat.
Mm.
Sweat, this is your make it or break it season, my friend.
I can
Do
agree with
something.
that.
BG is going next year. Do something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
Yeah,
agree
I
with that.
definitely could agree with that, and utilizing Milton Williams more as well. Um, but I think the if our secondary is if they perform as the way we think they can perform, our D line should do well, because you can't have one without the other. That's always been our issue. Like, we were getting, the sacks, as I mentioned earlier, um, getting pressure, but we were also letting people make record breaking yardage on us.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking for not so much position by position. I'm looking for all of those positions. I'm looking for Vic to have a magic potion where they're all working in sync, and I'm not looking for the number one sack ratio. I want those yards per quarterback to come down. That is my goal for this season. That's what I want to see them do, is not have people put up 400 yard, 300 or 400-yard games. I want them to keep every quarterback under 300 yards, and I think they've done their job. I think we put too much stock in the sacks. I'd like to see more turnovers too, from the secondary. But seriously, I want to see them contain the quarterbacks and keep them under 300 yards. I don't want to see not one quarterback get over 300 yards. I just want to start there for this season.
Well, that we have a big test tomorrow. Then, if that's the goal that you're looking for, then we are going to be tested tomorrow because we face one Jordan Love who had a very hot second half of last season, dissecting a few teams. Oh, he dissected the heck out of the cow turds, and that was a
It was
beautiful sight
beautiful
to
to
see.
see.
Beautiful. Oh my God.
Oh, Jinx.
They came right out and jumped right on the cow turds. But he's an impressive young quarterback, and we'll be facing him tomorrow. So that defense is going to be tested right out the gate. Right out the gate, they're going to be tested. So I am eager to see them. But I'm with you, Michelle. I don't need to have the most sacks or anything like that. I just need to see an improved defense from last year, one that is not giving out yardage
Mm.
like Oprah. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know, you get a yard. You get they were breaking their own records. Like, you get a personal best. You get like, come on now. We're not doing that. We're
Yeah,
not
we've
doing
got to stop that. That
Yeah,
was
that
horrible.
that is my issue when it comes to it's a complete defensive game from us, where they are not dropping 300 and 400 and 500 yards on us. That's what I want. If we can keep those things down to a minimum and keep all quarterbacks on the opposing teams, don't let them get 200 yards. Real talk.
Facts.
That's
I'm
that's a
with that.
that's a tall task with up and rising Jordan Love, like Dark Knight said. Like, these receivers that we're going to see, this is our litmus test, right? These cornerbacks going to get tested early and often. Not only are these cornerbacks going to get tested, these linebackers.
Mm,
They have Josh Jacobs in the backfield.
Mm.
He is one
mm.
of the most dynamic running backs in the league. 2 years ago, he led the league in rushing yards. So don't get it twisted. Just because you think you got a quarterback and these receivers they have and he can spread the ball out, that they won't run the ball. So this whole defense in itself will get tested. It's time for them to step up, take those little britches off, pull their shorts up, and play football.
Well, one thing I'm looking forward to is I think that this defense is going to be more physical than what we saw last year. From talking to and looking at Vic and his past defenses and the way he calls the defense and just listening to him in his press conferences, he's definitely about playing a more physical style of defense. Hence, he had some of his starters played in the preseason. He wasn't like some of his starters played in the preseason, and he talked about it. You got to play to get accustomed to the season that's coming up. You can't be physical standing on the sideline not getting any work during the preseason. So
right.
I'm going to look forward to seeing a more physical defense. Another thing, he likes to blitz. He likes to send that linebacker. So it might bode well that we have some speedy linebackers in there, or, he sends the corners too and all that, but he turns up the heat in the kitchen, man, and that's going to help out a lot. But I'm with you, Pat. We have to stop that run. The Green Bay Packers with that dynamic quarterback, they also have Josh Jacobs, and they didn't get him to stand there and look pretty. They got him for a reason, so we're probably going to see a good dosage of him tomorrow. So I'm just eager to see how this defensive line, these linebackers, the whole defensive unit basically, because our defense sucked last year. It really did. And part of my optimism is that we suck so bad that we got to be better. Like, we can't do that again, right? This defense has no place else to go but up, because we were down last year. Horrible. So I'm looking forward to.
We were terrible.
It has to be better.
It wasn't horrible. It was terrible. It was Nightmare on Elm Street. It was once. I don't know what happened in that locker room. It was terrible. This defense didn't look. It was a shell of itself in the first half of the year. On the second half of the year, they can tackle a cold. Especially Bradbury. I'm happy he's kind of injured, even though he's part of the team, and I wish him good health.
You read my mind, because I was just about to say we're not going to talk about Bradbury.
Even though he's part of the team, I wish him good health, but he couldn't tackle a cold. He couldn't tackle a toddler. He could not tackle a toddler, all right? Yes, I do think this front four can get after Jordan Love. We just got to be contained in our rushes and get – the best way to get to Jordan Love is up the middle. That's where Jordan Davis, that's where Jalen Carter is. Milton Williams. NASCAR situation where you put BG in that one technique or that zero technique and have him rush the guard, the center. These are the opportunities that make it easier on the back end when you're getting after the quarterback. And we need our down linemen to be destructive all game.
All right, well, let's get serious. Our defense is not going to win us the Super Bowl this year. We know who's going to carry this team, and that's our offense.
What?
So let's go to the other side of the ball. Let's be serious. I mean, don't get
this quarter. We can talk about this on the third quarter. Let's end this quarter.
Yeah, we're going to end this quarter on the third quarter.
Defense does help us win a championship. So I'm not going to pretend that
but I'm saying they're not going to carry us this year to a championship. Let's go.
Offense, but I'm ready for our offense. I'm ready for it.
All right, let's end this quarter, Pat.
And that's the end of the quarter.
All right, you're listening to the NFL Kickoff Show, Eagles Talk, Dark Knight, Nichelle, Pat, and we're here talking about our favorite football team, that is the Philadelphia Eagles, in such a relaxed manner that we're enjoying our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. I'm doing the strawberry lemonade, Pat's doing the Woodford Reserve, and Nichelle is doing the gin mule in an authentic 10 mule cup. So here we go. Everybody, let me know what you're doing out here as we can move on and talk about the offense. And let's take this down the hatch. 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the third quarter.
That third shot.
Now I see people jumped up and said really quick when I said that. Let's not get it twisted. Let's not get it twisted. The defense is not going to win us. They're going to contribute if we're going to win a Super Bowl. I understand that. But we know what we came here to see. We come here for this offense because this offense is awesome. When you look at us on paper, this is what the people are paying to see this year. Paying to see Jalen Hurts have a bounce back year.
Yes.
We're paying to see our new running back Saquon Barkley, one of the best in the league. We're here to see the probably the most dynamic wide receiver duo in the league.
Period.
Top tight end.
Period.
A massive offensive line. They're the ones that are going to be carrying the heavy load if we're going to have any type of success. They can if they are performing at a high level, and I said this last year, I had my biggest disappointment wasn't in the defense because I don't think that we had the talent to be a top tier defense last year, but we definitely had the talent to be a top tier offense, and we kind of dropped the ball. So if we're going to have any success this year, it's going to be on the shoulders of our offense to put up points. And our offense, and we talk about it, our offense can definitely help out the defense if we're scoring points, if we're killing them in the time of possession. Those things help out a defense. So I'm putting a lot of onus on the offense this year, and we need them to perform at a higher level. We have a new OC, Kellen Moore. He's doing some amazing things we're hearing coming out of training camp, and I can't wait to see Jalen in this new offense because he had a fantastic training camp, 1 interception in the entire training camp. Hey, I hope that doesn't say anything about our defense, right?
With your training camp stats.
Yeah, we gotta keep the training camp stats because had there been 15 interceptions in training camps, we'd be in here like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to celebrate. Yeah, I'm gonna celebrate that. But I'm looking forward to all of that. Motion on the offense, plays that gives Jalen's options when the blitz come, because we're gonna see blitzing tomorrow night. The teams that beat us down the stretch last year, they turned up the heat. They blitzed a lot. Jalen was horrible against the blitz last year. So they're going to come and see if Jalen has learned anything, if we've made any adjustments against the blitz. So we're going to get tested. He's going to get tested often and early tomorrow, and we're going to see if he has learned anything, if the OC has installed some things that gives him more options to deal with the blitz. We're going to see all that tomorrow. So I can't wait to see. What do you guys think about the offense? Started with you, Nichelle.
Well, the offense obviously has a fire roster on paper, but we cannot discount the fact that we do have a new OC. And you know how I feel about quarterbacks changing OCs every year and not getting a rhythm. I'm hoping this is the key, is Kellen Moore, to take our offensive play calling from basic vanilla Uggs and flannel to something a little bit more exciting.
Basic
Something
vanilla.
with a little bit more bling to it, because we have become very predictable. I'm still kind of in the middle of the road about our second running back, Gainwell, and having him versus Swift, but I understand it from a coaching perspective.
Mhm.
Why Gainwell gives us a different look than Swift, and Saquon can hit a lot of that downhill stuff that Swift did for us. And I love the excitement of young Will Shipley. He's a little fireball out there. But our wide receivers, they're each year they get better and better and better. Each year this core meshes and meshes and meshes between Jalen and his 2 homies, AJ and Devontae. I think we're going to see some lights out plays. And if Kellen Moore does what I think he's going to do, because he just got a whole new set of toys. If I'm Kellen Moore, I'm digging in the crates. I'm digging in the bag. I'm acting like I'm on Madden 2024 and making up whatever I want with this crew. I hope they have allowed him. I hope he has brought creativity to this playbook, because like I said, we were too basic and vanilla. The only way, not just execution and performance wise, that's a given. We always talk about, oh, they got to perform. Duh, it's the NFL. Of course you got to perform. It's really about the execution and the strategy of how you run plays. And we don't talk about the strategy of the play calling enough, and that's really it. If you have a whole set of toys, you want to open it up to go 180 on the road. You don't take your new fancy Porsche and only go 50 or 60 miles an hour. No. You put the pedal to
No.
the metal. And
Right.
that's what we need if we really want to see some high flying stats, that high power offense. He has all the Porsches in the world.
Mhm.
He has all the best top of the line fastest cars he could ever have right now. And it's incumbent of Kellen Moore with the support of Sirianni and everyone else to get them firing on all cylinders, because there is no reason in the world that we shouldn't have ESPN highlights every week, and at the very least every other week. We have Saquon Barkley, hands down, nothing to say about how that running back is going to play out. And then mixing it up with the Kenneth Gainwell, who we could send out there as a third receiver if we want, give different looks. I'm really interested in seeing Kellen Moore draw up plays that are different looks, that plays into Jalen's strengths
Mhm.
of using his legs but not making him dependent on his legs to get out of trouble. But that also comes with the scheme. When they see how we're lining up, people knew what we were running. They knew what we were running for the past 2 seasons. So it
It
was
was
very
easy.
easy.
It
Right.
was
So
easy to defend. I
yeah, it
listen.
was very easy to defend. It was just we were relying on the talent and the skill and the athleticism. That's what was getting us over. But we
Yes.
didn't have the strategic chops of the playbook really for the last 2 seasons. These coaches got off easy because they had such high talent that hid those discrepancies in their creativity and play calling. So I'm hoping, Kellen Moore digs in the crates and takes these toys and just send them flying all over the place. That's what I want to say. And I haven't heard much issues with our new center Cam Jurgens, because obviously we're still going to miss Kelsey. But
This is the
I think
regame.
I'm not really worried about Stoutland University having that O line top notch, because we still
Correct.
pretty much kept 99% of the core of those folks, and Jason's not going anywhere. He's still going to be in their ear and in that locker room week to week. But yeah, I agree. X Factor. Kellen Moore should be a kid, because I would be a kid in a candy store if I
Man,
was
I'd be
him.
like a fat kid
I'd
who
be
All
loves
right.
drawing
cake.
all kinds of what? No, you won't even know. I'd
Listen,
have new
All
plays
right.
for
Let's hear
game.
from Pat. Let's look for Pat. What do you think?
I missed the commentary from the shell because you hit on a lot of factors, and I was like, yes, yes. When you're a kid growing up, you thinking about all the exotic cars. You think about
Mhm.
the Lamborghinis, the Ferraris, the Porsches. You don't think about the Ford Mustangs. You don't think about the Toyota Camrys. You don't
Okay.
think about the Honda Accords. You think about the exotic cars, getting those exotic cars, not a Dodge Charger. I mean, it depends on which generation you are, but not those particular cars. You
Mhm.
you, you think about the getting the foreign cars, and pushing them to the
The
limit.
Lamborghinis, the
Yes,
Lambos.
take them to the autobahn and push them to 300 miles an hour. See if you can drive it 300 miles an hour. You know you can't. But at the same time, this is what Kellen Moore has in front of him.
Mhm.
Kellen Moore has a landscape where he has to paint the Mona Lisa,
I know that's right.
right?
Okay,
He
Pat.
has to come up with the concepts and the different philosophies to make sure that his offense is not predictable. We asked for this all off season. A simple dressing. Remember I said some of these teams they have all these dressings in front of you. We got to identify.
Mhm.
We asked for that on the offense. They asked for the different motions, the attract the defense to the right and run a play to the left, or just have a motion, a quick motion, this and that. This something different than what we have seen before. Yes, this may have some spoils or some tidbits of the Nick Sirianni offense. We get that. But Kellen Moore is putting his own spin on it. And that's what we need from an offensive coordinator to put their own spin on it. Nothing's wrong with Honda. I'm just saying,
No,
Lamborghini compared to
no.
Honda. Which one you choosing? All right. So anyway, The
Listen,
one
they're
thing
not they're not all Lambos. Not to cut you off, but they're not all
they're not.
Lambos.
They're not.
Saquon is our what is that?
Bugatti.
Bugatti.
Or the
He's our
Hummer truck. You
Bugatti,
want to
but
do
he's also what is the big like Jeep kind of looking plow through
the
brand
Hummer?
The
truck.
Hummer.
He's our Hummer.
But I don't think he can beat a Hummer because he has the ability to be so dynamic.
He
He's
is.
so I always called Miles Sanders Saquon Jr.
Mm,
Now we
Mhm.
got the actual senior in the
yeah.
building. But beyond that, just with when you talked about AJ, Devontae, Dallas, Saquon, even Kenny G, Will Shipley's a capable running back as a rookie. Then we forgot about one more person, Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, man.
Jahan Dotson
Number 3.
at Penn State was a very dynamic receiver. Dynamic. Smitty said when they went to scout Ohio State, they looked at the tape of Penn State versus Ohio State. And everything that stuck out, it wasn't Ohio State, it was Jahan Dotson making plays against that top-notch defense, time in and time out. And with Washington, he was counting on to be the number one receiver or number one, the 1A, like we have 1A and 1B, right? He's counting on to be the 1B receiver with the Washington Commodores. That wasn't going to happen because he's not that particular wide receiver, because he's more of a slot receiver than a secondary receiver. In this offense, I think he's going to be a surprise to a lot, because a lot of things are going to be opened up. You got your third best corner, which is your worst corner, on Jahan Dotson, who can literally be a number one receiver in the league. Good luck.
Talk about it.
Good luck. This offense better average 35 points a game.
Well, I think that they have an excellent chance to be able to do that, as long as, like Brad says, if they send Nick upstairs. Don't let Nick have anything to do with the offense. Please don't even let Nick in the kitchen. All right? Don't let him get around the groceries. Don't let him get around the pots or none of that. Keep Nick out of the kitchen, and we may stand a chance. Kellen Moore has a lot of toys. Kellen Moore is probably at practice playing like we used to play in the streets in Philadelphia, where you just draw the play on the ground with the rocks on the blacktop. Like, look, I want you to go here, and I want you to go over. He has a lot of toys here, man, and I know he's like a kid in a candy store, and I can't wait to see this offense. And like I said, we have some things that we're going to see, just because we had trouble with this last year, and I believe that Kellen Moore is going to have an answer for that. The blitz. We're going to see that. Jalen had the worst quarterback rating against the blitz last year, and that's because, in my opinion, the play calling sucks so bad. They didn't give him any options on where to go with the ball. No hot routes, none of that. And the route design was too long. You didn't have time for those long developing routes to come about. So that was the formula for disaster, and DCs ate that up last year. Yes. Defensive coordinators ate that up last year. So I think that Kellen Moore is going to address that, man, and with all the weapons, yes, I'm expecting 30-plus points a game, and I think that if our team performs offensively in that manner consistently throughout the year, it's going to be a special year. That's going to help the defense. It really is going to help the defense not have to be on the field so long. It's going to, and that's one of the formulas we had for going to the Super Bowl the last time, putting the pressure on the opposing team to score points. Because by the time we got up so quick on these guys that they had to play catch up. And once they went into that mode, it was pin your ears back, go get the quarterback. Once we turned them into a one-dimensional team, it was lights out. So I'm hoping to see more of that this year, and I think that we have the potential to see that. Now, the big, what's the word I'm looking for? Elephant in the room is, although we look very talented on paper, we've got to see this team actually do it. We've got to see these players actually play up to their capabilities, or our perceived capabilities of these players. We brought them in for a reason. We brought Huff in here for a reason. We brought these players in here for a reason. We need them to perform up to the capabilities we saw in them. So that's going to be the elephant in the room. We've got to see that.
Absolutely. 100%. They have to execute, but I expect them to.
Mm-hmm.
That was never a worry is the execution of our offensive players. It was always their positioning. And I felt the same about defense.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you. I just felt as though they were out of position and out of sync. I never really had a doubt about the talent on this team, as other people say, oh, this person sucks. Even with Bradbury getting burnt Bradbury, whatever you want to call it. I never doubted he has the ability or the talent. I doubted that they were not being coached up properly, coached up into where they needed to be on the field. The intangibles of the positioning of where you need to be and the adjustments were never made, because all of them they wouldn't be here if they didn't have the talent to be a starter. Let's be clear.
Correct. But
you're starters in the league for a reason.
Your husband right, but at some point in time you fall off.
Yeah, no,
and now Bradbury had the ability.
He had a fall off,
and his fall off happened in the unfortunately happened in the Super Bowl.
He had a fall.
He became a little bit too grabby because he realized he cannot stay with these receivers, and we start seeing it. Like, you know what the heck is wrong with this guy? But I got a hot take for you guys right here. Before we go,
well, let's stop and go into the fourth quarter before you.
And that's the end of the quarter.
All right, you're watching Eagles Talk. You're listening to Eagles Talk if you're listening to the audio podcast. And we are the most unique Eagles coverage show around that's by fans for fans. And here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team, that is the Super Bowl bound Philadelphia Eagles. And we do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. I'm doing the strawberry lemonade. Pat's doing the Woodford Reserve. And Nichelle is doing the Gin Mule in an authentic mule tin cup. All right, so let's toast our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't forget, come back here tomorrow night because we're still going to be doing a pregame and a postgame show. This is just for our weekly audio podcast. We'll be back on tomorrow night, so tune in then. But to our Philadelphia Eagles, raise your glasses. Down the hatch, 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the fourth quarter.
All right, Pat, you're going to give us a hot take, and we're going to just revisit briefly. Not going to go game by game, but we had our scheduled game by game prediction, and I just want to ask you guys: are you still confident in what you predicted on that show that night? But Pat, give us the hot take.
I have to go get the sheet. I got the sheet over there. So this hot take, because I here in Philadelphia, WIP is what you listen to. You listen to Hugh. You listen to Ike. Sometimes you listen to the Morning Guys with John Ritchie. There are 3 Philadelphia Eagles right there I just mentioned, and they said, "What is your hottest take for this Philadelphia Eagles team? Not that they're going 13-4. How about going 15-1 or undefeated for the season?" And I look back, I said, it's a possibility if we get this thing right that this offense can resemble that Patriots offense of 2007 with Randy Moss and Tom Brady, which they were unstoppable and they kept putting points on the board regardless of what you did. They said, my offense is on the field. Is my responsibility for my offense to score. It's responsible. Your defense to stop my offense. End of story, right? I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought about that. I'm looking at our offense. I said, I'm looking at the yards. I'm looking at the possibilities. I could see an A.J. Brown going for 1,800 receiving yards. I could see a Devontae Smith going for 1,400 receiving yards. I could see a Dallas Goedert going for 900 receiving yards. A Jahan Dotson going for 800 receiving yards. A Saquon Barkley being the first Philadelphia Eagle to run for over 1,000 yards and catch for over 1,000 yards.
That's a hot take.
Jalen Hurts can be a quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles to be the first one to throw over 5,000 yards in a season. That's what the NFL is. The
Okay.
NFL
Yeah.
is quarterbacks throwing for 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I really think this is what this offense can be. Yes, we're talking about on paper, but if this offensive line, which is the whole culmination of what this offense really can be, especially when kind of back then at the right guard position, if he can hold up and be what these coaches and what this media think he could be, this offense this offense's ability could be the sky's the limit for this offense, hands down. There is no question what this offense could be. I know, Dark Knight, you're talking about this defense and what they can do on defense. Can they be sufficient enough? But if my offense is putting up 45 points a game, go back to the previous comment, what you said. Now you're making this other team have to say, no, we can't run the ball. You're saying to the Atlanta Falcons, who has an outstanding running back, we can't run the ball. You're saying to the Green Bay Packers, who we play less than 24 hours, you can't run the ball. You got to throw the ball every down to catch up. And what that does is give these safeties, Reed Blankenship, CJ GJ, these corners, Q, Slay, Avante Maddox, the John Cooper, right? Cooper the John.
The John.
Like, you give these guys the opportunity to make these plays on the backside of the field now. Now, as a linebacker, if I'm a linebacker and I know all you're doing is passing, that play action is not affecting me whatsoever. I am not coming up. So what you talked about in the second quarter about that middle of the field being wide open is only open because you can't stop the run. You got to take that step up as a linebacker. Now I ain't taking a step up. Now you got to fit the ball in there. When you fit the ball in there, I'm moving. I'm taking that ball away from you. It's Philadelphia Eagles football time, and it's time for these guys to put the women and children to bed and have the men go to dinner. If you saw the program, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no doubt.
Drew,
Let me go to some. Go ahead.
I wanted you to go to a comment, actually. Can we go to Ted Wiggins' comment? Because I don't know Rick's or Ringo, so I want Pat's take on Rick's or Ringo.
I think it may be Ringo. For the only reason I say that it's going to be Ringo. We won't know until the start of the game. Q was he was training inside. So he trained inside with Isaiah Rodgers and Ringo on the outside. He has that ability to focus on the outside, just like Vic said. Until he's able to focus on one position, he's going to have a lot thrown at him, and he's able to retain that information, and he's able to play that inside corner position. So I'd rather have him on the field, and that nickel position is a starting position. So I think it may be Ringo to start the game, depending on different situations. And that's not a bad thing. When you have these amount of corners that can be almost interchangeable,
hey Sean,
it's a great thing to have. It's a great thing to have.
That's my man. I think that it'll be Ringo, but no matter what, I think that Mitchell is going to be on the field all the time. If it doesn't call for nickel, he's going to be on the outside. If it does call for nickel, he'll probably be in the slot. But Vic loves that kid. If you hear him talk about him, he loves Mitchell and Slay. Everybody loves him. Slay said he came out the womb ready. They said, is Mitchell ready? He said he came out his mama ready. That's what he said. He came out his mom ready. So that's high praise.
How we love Slay's commentary, though, of the Young Bucks. He gives them so much props and so much love, and he's so funny about it. He's so about it.
Yes, he is so about it, man. But they said, let me go to this comment up here because he said, it was about Nick.
He
said, upstairs? Do you think is it in Nick to be, for them to be successful, whatever? Well, I can't find the comment, but I will say this about Nick. Nick is in the right position for this team. Not controlling the offense, not having his hands in the offense, and he's not a defensive guy anyway. Nick is in the right position as a coach right now. All he has to do is practice his motivational speaking. His motivational speeches is all Nick has to do. If he leaves those units, gives the OC and DC autonomy over their units, we're going to be fine, I believe. I think that we brought in more veteran coordinators this time instead of the inexperienced people that we had last year. And I think that both of those units are in good hands. So if Nick keeps his hands out of the X's and O's and strategies, especially on the offensive side, don't let him in the kitchen at all, and allows the OC and DC, he can manage this team and lead us back to a Super Bowl. Absolutely. I think that he's in the perfect position to do that now.
And he could be the second set of eyes for the OC and DC and say, hey, I'm seeing this. He needs to be a head coach. Hey, you need to adjust for this. I'm seeing this down on this end of the field. And being that hype man, and reinforcing what the OC and DC are doing.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with that. Listen, if Nick Sirianni can give that same energy that Mike Tomlin gives to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I hate to bring up the Pittsburgh Steelers, but we're talking about PA real quickly, right? He has never had a losing season. He's not an offensive coordinator. He's not a defensive coordinator. He manages the team. That's what you want from your head coach.
That's right.
You don't have to be an Andy Reid and be the offensive coordinator and the head coach at the same time. You don't have to do that. Sometimes you have to be just the head coach and manage the whole team aspect. And just because you're not calling the offensive plays or defensive plays doesn't mean that you're not being respected. You're the head football coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. You have not had a losing season. You took the Eagles to the Super Bowl in your second year. You have did more
the third time.
You have did more as a head coach than, believe it or not, than Andy Reid has done in his first 5 years. Well, I'm saying first 3 years.
When he was here.
His first 3 years, and Andy Reid's considered one of the best head coaches ever, right? You have did better than Andy Reid has done in his first 3 years. So you have the opportunity just to be that head ball coach to make sure everything moves smoothly.
And why? Because he's been given a better roster than Andy was in his first few years. Nick has been handed a very talented roster. He's had a very talented roster all 4 of the years that he's been here. So that has really given him advantage. And hopefully this year we can take advantage of such a talented roster that Howie continues to give this man. So I am looking for us to have a spectacular year. Don't let us not forget to enjoy the ride, the journey, enjoy it game by game. I'm just playing. I'm kind of excited, so I say Super Bowl bound, but I'm going to sit back and enjoy this team as we go game by game throughout this journey of this 2024 season and enjoy our Philadelphia Eagles. That's what I charge all of you guys to do out there. But bringing up what we're doing tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be on pregame, 7:15. The game starts at 8:15. We'll be here 7:15 on your and on the YouTube, Facebook, and IG. So make sure you come and watch the pregame show with us. Watch it with Eagles fans, not those people in the studio. They don't know what the hell they talk about. Come and watch it with us. And we'll have a post-game show, and I will be continuing in the 2024 season of play-by-play so you can watch the game with me. When the game starts, I had a crew and a crowd that will watch the game. We watch it together. Now, I can't broadcast it, but I will give you a play-by-play, and it's not for the kiddies either because sometimes I get excited and I'll use expletives. So don't watch it with me and the kids because you might not want to. I'm like, God damn it, what the hell? So I'll just give you that warning there. But come and tune in tomorrow, man, as we will be back on here for our Philadelphia Eagles as we kick off the season in Brazil against the Green Bay Packers. I'm your man, Dark Knight, for my co-hosts, Pat and Nichelle. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We're out. Peace.
We go live in 5, 4, 3, 2. Smash him up, crack that fool. Quarterback, yo, sack that fool. Hit him,